This is my commandment, that you love one another. The command is given in the context of joy. We notice that this joy is to be also a hallmark of the community. Joy and love are mutual, and where one is absent, the other also soon disappears. When one lives all the time with others, either in marriage or in community, there is a choice. Is it mere coexistence, or is there enjoyment? One creates a purgatory on earth or an anticipated paradise. It's not enough to leave it just to one or the other. It has to be a shared effort. There are certain tricks. One is to avoid, before uttering it, rather than correct it with profuse apologies, the word which can wound. Another is to know how to pass over without making an issue each time. Another is, in some way, to realize that life is actually short, and therefore it is better, in the measure in which it's possible, to use what is in the day, simple though it may be, to create little sparks of joy, just sprinkling the moment as it passes. That great boon that the Lord has given humanity is sacred. And the old saying, laughter is the best medicine, holds ever true. It has the knock-on effect of relativizing things. I am convinced that in the terrible years of the war in London, when people would see their house going up in cinders after the bombing, that the English wit was a great boon. Everything is not as tragic as we think. The only real tragedy is hell. There are, of course, very serious tragedies, and one great one is excruciating pain. And whereas the mind can in some way limit the damage of mental pain by adjusting things within itself, heavy physical pain can take away joy, humanly speaking, because it is invasive and one cannot switch off from it, even for one moment, except in sleep. And so, when one sees joy there, one sees the work of grace and nothing else, for the saints have joy in the midst of terrible suffering. One thinks of the martyrs, of course, and those imprisoned for years in dungeons. And so, if one is not in heavy physical pain, one needs to ask, is it really hugely tragic all the time? What this, whatever it might be, is right now taking away my joy. For we only come this way once. And a joyful soul is a healing soul. And in a community or a family, a massive blessing. It applies also in a work situation. It applies in a parish. If a priest has a heavy humanity, his sacred ministry is damaged and hampered. If a priest is on the human level an attractive personality, his ministry will be greatly helped. A priest, however, can be thwarted and throttled by heavy lay people who, for whatever motive it might be, insist on their rights. And one sees situations where a priest is not free. Indeed, he is tethered. And here, in a parish, in that parish situation, wherever it might be, one can have a situation where joy is denied the priest in his ministry. People do not realize that charity extends also psychologically to feeling the pain of another and not increasing it. How can one be in a joyful mode of loving Jesus, who is love itself, and not feel pain, and not feel especially one's own pain emitted and given unto others freely? We have only one ride through life, and this is perhaps also a part of the Great Commandment. Emit joy.